Good morning. Recently I did a small coaching on the topic of warding as a jungler. It was about half an hour. And I intended to record it and upload it, but my PC couldn't handle the coaching itself and the recording. So that's why I'm making this video afterwards. Now, warding. Jungler and laner in the early game both want the same thing. They want to know where the enemy jungler is. Very, very simple. But there are very key differences between warding as a jungler and as a laner. Laner are static. They stay in one place in the early game. Again, we are only talking about the early game. Late game is way different. There are way more wards. Laners are static. And they are mainly happy when they just know that the enemy jungler is not at their lane and they are safe. A mid laner, for example, may just put down a ward to the left or to the right side of the river and then lean toward that side and be happy and safe and everything is okay. A jungler can't do that. For one, his map to play is way, way bigger. And he can't just put a ward down in one place, stay near that ward and feel safe. He can't do that, he has to move around. And second, the limitations of wards are way more punishing for jungler. Number one, the time, how long a ward stays up. If a jungler puts down a ward and this ward never sees anything in the entire duration of its uptime, it can still be a win for the laner. Because in that entire time he can just sit back, relax and be safe in the knowledge that here is no jungler and he sees that. Jungler might put down a ward and it sees nothing and it was completely wasted just because no one ever moved past that ward and well, it did nothing. And second, how many wards you have? A jungler only has one ward, the trinket ward. He might have two if he invests into an early pink ward, but how useful is that? Well, we will see. A laner has one or two key access points to his position, to his lane. And he can ward that point, or can ward one point and play for that point in the lane. For example, left or right side to the mid lane. And he's happy. A jungler doesn't have just one point. As I said, his area is so much bigger. So with these difficulties, how do jungler actually use wards? Well, let's find out. Now, what we have here is gonna be a short clip from a recent game in the Premier League Division 2 relegation between NNO and Wave. By the way, NNO, very popular in Germany, very entertaining and also useful for learning team because they stream a lot of games, the entire game with all calls and everything. That's why I'm going to use a short clip from them as an example. This is from their jungler Agorin and he's playing Jarvan against Shyvana. Now, what is gonna happen is we're gonna watch. We are gonna watch what is gonna happen. And yeah, then we're gonna talk about what happened. Let's see. For the moment, he's just clearing downwards. No information yet where Shyvana is.
Kannst du Raptoren holen, Freddy?
Ja, hätte ich schon. Bloß nicht schüchtern sein, ne?
Ich weiß, ja, gut.
Die hat am Blue angefangen. Zeigt sich jetzt gleich Raptoren. Ist gerade an Wölfen. Sie skippt Wölfe.
Ja, sie jetzt anfangen lassen zu pushen, ne?
Ja, sie macht keinen Raptoren.
Ich bin komplett fein, die können mich nicht leiden.
Also entweder sie gankt Botlane oder sie invadet mich.
Was ist schlimmer?
Oder sie skippt das Camp ganz, aber das ist, also du spielst Shyvana, das kannst du eigentlich nicht machen. Die ist Toplane
Kann
dann.
die Top diven? Ne?
Glaube ich nicht. Obwohl der pottet, maybe, aber I don't think so. Wenn ich hier Level 3 werde, ist es unmöglich.
Wenn du was machst, kannst du ruhig gucken.
Die gehen top.
So, well, what happened? He had no knowledge about where Shyvana started. Shyvana is probably going for full clear because she's just that good at farming and can get natural advantage by just out farming the Jarvan. So that's a basic assumption. Now, if she wants to do that, she's gonna start bot side where she can get the biggest leash from the AD carry and the support. So, assumption, Shyvana is gonna jungle from bot to top, full clear. Okay. Now, Agrin knows how fast Shyvana jungles. So he can more or less accurately predict when she is gonna transition from bot side to top side and gonna do the first camp, which is Raptors. What he does is he calls for his mid laner toward Raptors to confirm that his assumption about Shyvana is true. And upon realizing that no, the assumption is not true because Shyvana is not at Raptors, he starts to think. So what is going on? If she is not doing that, if she is not clearing from bot to top, well, what is she doing? And what he calls to his team is either Shyvana is gonna go for a dive topside or she is gonna invade bot side jungle. Only two options. And, well, the dive topside is what is happening. And we talked about limitation of wards, and he was only one ward used, one ward, to cover the entire map and make clear the position of Shyvana with one ward. And that's the secret how you ward as a jungler. We're gonna go more in detail on a map for a second. Now, we are Jarvan on the blue side, and we intend to start top side. We're not gonna go into lane matchups and how that influences jungling for now, so. Just to avoid angry comments that I'm just stupid and don't know what I'm talking about. Egal. So, we are Jarvan top side. And we're playing against Shyvana. Now, as I said, basic assumption is Shyvana is gonna clear from blue to Gromp to Wolves, that way. Bot to top, okay? Now, we are gonna clear from blue to Gromp to Wolves to Raptors, also gonna full clear. Now, when at Wolves, Jarvan calls for his mid laner toward Raptors. Here. It intercepts this route we have marked of Shyvana and confirms that route. If she appears at the timing that is usual for Shyvana, at that point we know everything she is gonna do. Now, as it happens, Shyvana doesn't appear. So this route we have marked is invalid. It doesn't work anymore. Oopsala. So we're still gonna assume that. Because if Shyvana started topside, which is the other option, the Raptors would already have been cleared. We probably wouldn't see her there, but they would already be dead. Other option is Shyvana started our red side, but that was covered by all laners, so probably not. So she had to have started blue on her side. But she didn't appear here. So what did she do? There are only two ways she can avoid this camp, this ward, and still be doing something or not be AFK. One, she invades the red side. Two, she goes into top side. and goes for surprising gank timing. And we know that just because of this one ward at Raptors. Jungler are very free to do whatever they want on the map. And they can be incredibly flexible. But they still need to collect resources. They still need to farm. So while they're moving across the map, there needs to be a certain efficiency in their movement. Meaning, wherever they go, they're going top side, they're going bot side, they always want to clear the camps on the way there. Always. Because if they don't, they are probably in bronze, and they just run erratically around the map and go for the most random ganks. Maybe the ganks work, maybe the ganks don't, but if they don't work, he's automatically completely behind. Meaning you're putting yourself in a situation where you have to go for plays that might or might not work, but you need them to work or you're just gonna be behind. The enemy jungler has to do nothing and he is winning. That's why you need to farm efficiently. That's why you need to move efficiently. And that's why we can make those assumptions about a route that a jungler is taking. If Shyvana doesn't appear at Raptors and still somewhat clears her camps, then we know exactly where she is going. Exactly. Because we can put down wards on these routes that the jungler takes. In this case, on Raptors. This is essentially the secret. You have to understand what routes are possible. It's like a decision tree. Where is the enemy jungler gonna go? And you can mark those routes as lines on a map. And then you basically just put down a ward where it sees the most lines. Easy as that. I want to give you an additional example of how to anticipate the route that the opponent can take and how you can ward against that to always know their position, or as best as possible. Depends always on the game. Epic. So, where are you? There you are. Now, let's say, yeah, we ignore what kind of champ you are for now. It is 320. You have seen the jungler topside and he has cleared the top scuttle crab and recalled. Or you think he recalled. When he cleared, we assume he is red side. He cleared from bot to top. Now, we don't see if he recalls. Last seen was here at top scuttle crab. Okay? The most likely scenario is he just presses B, recalls, and goes bot side and starts his clear again. Most likely. What else is possible? He could go for a gank. We don't know. What else? He goes bot side and maybe does Gromp and goes into bot. Either to invade or to get prio with the bot lane or invade together with the bot lane, or simply to gank the bot lane. These are very, very typical paths that a jungler can take after the first reset. Now, if you look at that, if you have one ward, where can you put it down to best know everything that is going on? Oops. Here. Just here. It's a very simple ward for usually a bot laner if you have the option, the time, the prior, whatever, that you can just walk in there and ward there. I myself use these wards a lot. Let's say 325, one of your bot laners puts down a ward here. If the opponent doesn't appear in the next 20 seconds on that ward, so let's say around 340 to 350, then he's doing something weird here topside. If he appears on that ward, does Gromp, it moves towards topside. Then you know at the very least he's not going bot, because then he wouldn't clear wolves. He's just gonna clear topside again. What he does from there we don't know, but most likely full clear. Or he just walks through here or walks from Gromp to bot side, then we know it's one of these purple paths. We don't know which of them, but we know that he is on one of them. That is basically how it works. On another example, obviously he could take other paths. For example, he could just walk out of the ways, straight bot, go for lane gang. He could go top straight, or possible. What else could he do? Possible scenarios: your the enemy top laner has prio, and the enemy jungler doesn't reset, and together with the top laner invade your Gromp that is spawning again and try to kill you, trap you, whatever. It's all very game dependent, and these two routes are obviously, yeah, kind of crazy. Possible, depends on the game again if they make any sense, usually not. But the three that I showed you earlier are the most likely routes in that situation. It's as close to a standard situation as you can come in League, I think. The point is you have to find that one spot that covers the most routes. You can't always cover all of them. Sometimes you can't cover any of them. All your laners have no lanes have no prio, and you're just sitting there, what do I do? At game for jungler happens. Then you don't know any of that. So don't put pressure on yourself. But if you have the option, then put the wards there where you can cover the most routes. I hope I made somewhat clear how to ward as a jungler. It is very, very difficult because it depends upon you to be able to read the map, to be able to read the lines that your opponent can take, that you can take. Now, so don't be discouraged if it doesn't work, if it takes time, if you fail, if your ward timings are off, whatever. It's very, very difficult, and a core aspect of higher level of jungling. Now that's mostly for solo queue. In team play 5v5 there's a whole nother aspect. In the video clip I showed you, it was not actually the jungler that warded, it was a mid laner who put down a critical ward. And that's the important part. Jungler and laner use their wards to find the enemy jungler. And a laner can just put down, as I talked about, put down the ward in a position that makes them safe and be happy about it. But if a laner knows where the jungler is, he doesn't even need such a ward, because he just knows. So why does he need the ward in the river or wherever? If he knows that the enemy jungler is now at Raptors, at Crux, whatever. In a team play, your jungler should try to track the enemy jungler and call for the laners to put down wards to track him, also to track the enemy jungler for him. Because the laner, the jungler together with the laners can cover a wider area of the map, and together they also have more wards. So that's why, directed by your jungler, all your laners should use these wards to track the enemy jungler. Now, then it becomes more difficult, for example, if a lane just doesn't have prio and can't ward in the enemy jungle, or can't even ward in the river because there's just so much pressure in lane. Then, well, you can't do anything about that. But you should keep in mind, it's about using all the wards that your team has at their disposal. But again, that is really only in team play because, well, solo queue lacks the communication for that generally. Now, that's it for today. I hope you learned something. Have a nice day.